What up, YouTube? I'm not on here much, but I just recently posted a video and I deleted it because I broke the something like, I don't know what it's called, but like to turn your phone sideways. So I just didn't really like the angle and I didn't really like the lighting. So yeah, and I also want to go in more about me pursuing the music industry out in LA. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be talking about, and my whole experience in general living out in LA for about 6.5 months. Yeah, so we're going to get into it right now. My journey out in LA. So, probably going to make this a shorter video, at least I'm trying to, because I just can't really talk for like long periods of time without dozing off and like just wanting to zip my mouth shut. But fuck it, like, they don't want me to speak anyway, so I'ma speak. So, yeah. Living out in LA. It's definitely worth it for growth, 100%. But it's a really tough city to live in. And it's not a city you want to struggle in, like I did, because I had to spend all my money on rent, food, and the motherfucking music industry, which I don't regret. I mean, I don't regret anything though, but I also don't recommend investing your money into the music industry or like any type of industry you're trying to pursue out in LA, because it's just not really worth your money, in my opinion, whether it's like a school or like something. And it really just depends, like, use your discernment, but obviously if you can get financial help, or like if your parents or someone in your family can support and pay for that, then it would definitely be worth it. But if you have to do it all alone, like I had to, then no, it's not really worth it, because you think about it, you got to pay for everything else and that all adds up. So by paying a school or paying a bunch of money for whatever you're trying to pursue, that's gonna really put a financial burden on you. So, yeah, I mean, I did learn more skills and stuff, but, if I knew it was going to cause the amount of chaos it did in my life, I probably wouldn't have even, like, went to the school, and I probably would have just went out there and just, lived out there for a little bit and just see how it was, and then maybe leave, because LA is not really the place you want to stay in. Unless you really have connections out there, like genuine connections, not fake ass connections with people who are trying to set you up, like actual people in your corner that a career established, money obviously, because you're gonna constantly be having to spend money, right? So you definitely want to be set in that aspect, because otherwise it's just gonna be a crazy ride, and LA is kind of a crazy ride anyways. But I want to get into kind of how I even went out there, like what made me go out to LA, why did I decide to just up and move across the country to LA, like by myself, because it's kind of the road less traveled. Like a lot of people don't just decide like, oh, I'm gonna go out to LA, and just try to make shit happen for myself, because it's scary, right? It definitely is. But I was just trying to get away from my family situation and what I had going on. I just had to leave. I had to get the fuck away from toxicity, from my family, and, it felt like the situation I was in, over a year ago, I could not grow any more than what I was. So I was like, I want to do something drastic. I want to switch up my whole life in a drastic way, because I feel like I need to grow. So like my soul just happened to choose LA. A lot of people will try to say, like, especially if you're from a small town, a lot of people talk shit and they'll probably just say like, oh, you're a clout chaser, or you're this or you're that, for wanting to go out there and like pursue your dreams. But don't let that discourage you. Definitely don't listen to anybody, whether it's your family, your friends, or like people from where you're from. Like, don't let anybody discourage you and make you feel like you can't go out to LA, because that's going to be the deal breaker, and you you know, following your dreams. So definitely, and I'm not gonna be on here trying to like discourage anybody either from going out to LA, but my experience definitely wasn't the greatest. But like I said, I still don't regret it, regardless of all the fuck shit that happened and all the towers that came crashing down on my motherfucking head. And it was a lot of them, and I just like took it. I just said, like, I'm here, that happened, this happened, that happened, but I ain't letting nobody bully me out of this place. I ain't leaving LA until I decide I want to leave, until if and when I decide that. And I really like stuck to that, and I really like fought hard. But sometimes you realize what you're fighting for is not worth it. Sometimes you feel like what you thought your wish fulfillment was, it's not. Or what you thought was gonna make you happy, or it's not. And sometimes you're just being protected from certain places, people, and things, and that's like why things go the way they go. But anyways, yeah, I was just being shown a lot of different signs and synchronicities regarding California and LA, like well before I ever went out there, well before I ever knew I was gonna go out there. But I knew I wanted to move out of state and just like do something that I've never done before. So yeah, and I was originally thinking Miami, because I already visited before, or Texas, because I had an ex-producer that I was friends with who lived out in Texas, and you know, made me believe that he was gonna let me stay at his place. He had an extra bedroom, whatever, but that never ended up working out. I found out that, you know, he didn't have the best intentions for me, and that, you know, he just basically did me dirty. And yeah, so I would definitely just, you know, if you feel like you need to go on a journey by yourself and your heart is leading you to LA, do it. Don't let other people make you feel like you can't do it, basically. So yeah, what else do I want to get into? As a woman, it's hard pursuing the music industry out there, because I feel like I put so much into it to really get nothing back, but that's how it is. It's like LA kind of puts you under this illusion, like you think certain things are gonna happen, or you think like it's greater than what it really is out there. So it's easy to kind of think like, oh, like I'm gonna be in this industry and I'm gonna work with this artist and blah 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 blah. But it's just like wishful thinking. It doesn't mean that it's gonna happen or that it even should. And I've kind of come to an acceptance of it. Like, I'm good on my own. I don't need to work with higher up people. I don't need to, you know, have all these connections and like to like make something for myself, or to like make music. And a lot of people will try to, I feel like as a woman, like pursuing a male dominated industry, like you'll hear from people like, oh, you should just pursue this instead. Like, why are you pursuing this? Like, why are you trying to rap? Why are you trying to sing? Like, it's like people don't really give you the credit, because as women, like, we have to work a lot harder than men, obviously, to like put our name out there and like get our respect. So I just kind of gave up on that aspect. Like, I didn't really care how people viewed me, because it's like, this is like what I do. This is how I express myself. And yes, I rap, and yeah, I'm going to continue to rap. And I don't care what you think about it or how many towers you try to bring to me. I'm still going to pursue that if that's what I want to do. So it's like the energy of people trying to make me feel like I shouldn't have been pursuing it, or I should just do something else. But you can't let other people get in your head and like make you think like that's not what you're supposed to be doing, because maybe it is, but maybe other things are meant for you too. Maybe you're not meant to actually get like a record deal and like work with celebrities and artists that you like or look up to. Like, maybe that's not meant for you, but you know, it doesn't mean you still can't make music, especially if it's what you love to do and it's like helping you out with your sanity. You know, then definitely don't quit, and don't let any of this fake bullshit or hype kind of get you down because you're not, you know, famous. Because I feel like a lot of people go out there and they just expect to like be famous. That's not what I thought at all. I was just wanted to experience LA for myself. So I feel like going out there with like an open mindset and a positive mindset, but also like not having your hopes up too high, and your expectations on like what's gonna happen, because then it's very easy to kind of get that like shot down. And like what kind of happened to me out there, like I'm gonna say it like this, it could have very well broke another person that's not me, if that makes sense. Like if that had happened to someone else, it could have made someone just want to like completely stop making music or completely just give up on life because of what had happened, because it didn't pan out the way you wanted it to, or it didn't end up working out. But I just kind of, I looked at it from a different perspective. Even now, where I'm at a place where I'm grateful for everything I went through, no matter how hard it was, no matter how many attacks and spiritual warfare and all that I had gone through out in LA. I'm very grateful for it because it transformed me into who I am today and who I'm trying to become. Like, I'm a much stronger person for it. And yeah, it shouldn't take all this trauma to like morph you into like a stronger person, but because that doesn't happen with everybody, right? Like, so I just feel like yeah, I just kind of took in the wisdom and the information that I learned and I needed for myself to help me on my own journey. Because it's very easy to get yourself lost out there in LA, like just what other people are doing or the culture and this and that and groups of people, and that's how you really lose yourself when you don't stay true to who you are, because people will definitely test it. So it's like you kind of have to stand in what you believe in and who you are, because not everyone's going to agree with that. Not everyone's going to see your point of view or even try to understand. So, yeah. And I knew it was going to be hard, like going out there pursuing a male-dominated industry, like let's be real. But the thing with me is I knew I brought something different to the table, and like it was more just kind of about me, like just, I don't know, like becoming more comfortable with being authentically me and sharing my talents and stuff. And I feel like it helped in that way of me understanding that like this is what I should be doing in life, regardless of if other people like it or not or agree with it. So yeah, so let's get into kind of more of what I want to talk about LA. So yeah, obviously everything's like super expensive. So some people go out there with no money at all. I don't know how they do it, but people make it, work. It's just really what you're comfortable with. So I would recommend just like watching a bunch of YouTube videos online of like other people and like their vlogs and their journey of going out to LA, because that's going to really help you decide if this is what you want to do. And it's going to really help to hear their stories and their experiences. That way you can figure it out for yourself, because that's what I did personally. And there's like so many different living situations in LA that it's like you're bound to find something, whether it's like a hostel, a hotel, an Airbnb, a room with other roommates. That's what I did. Or just living by yourself. So I will say LA housing tends to go quick. Like you really have to hop on what you want. I mean, I shared a place with like 2 other people, which like I wouldn't recommend living with roommates, even though that is the etiquette out there. Just because, I don't know, it's just random roommates never work out, because if you don't mesh well with them, and like it's just gonna become a hostile environment, and you don't want to be putting up with other people's bullshit. You want to, when you need to just focus on yourself, and you already have enough of your own bullshit, right? So I wish I had lived alone, but I just figured it was going to be easier to split the rent with people and just kind of take that risk, because I didn't want to pay like over $1,000 for a room or a place. So yeah, you can't really trust anybody though, like at all. And I feel like I kind of made some mistakes in like trusting certain individuals, or like giving people the benefit of the doubt, which ultimately that kind of you know, that made my experience in LA entirely go the way it was gonna go, because I fucked with certain people, and like you just kind of see how like people don't really care. Um, you know, you gotta keep a lot of shit to yourself and just lie if you have to. Like if you're going out there as a woman alone and you're vulnerable, like I was, you really have to just do whatever you can to protect yourself, because people are crazy and you don't really know somebody, you don't know who they know or what they're really about. So never underestimate like how far people will go, and like the actual like thought processes of other people, and how sick-minded like people can really be and really is. And I'm coming from like a spiritual standpoint where like I know spirituality, like a lot of people tend to think, oh, all love and light and this and that, but it's actually like very fucking dark once you kind of tap into that shadow side too, but you kind of see like the truth of it all, like how people truly fucking think, which can really be sick. So how most people think, for real. But yeah, so I experienced a lot of oppression and everything, but also like I knew certain things were gonna happen before they even happened. Like I kind of had this gut feeling like how LA was already gonna go, and my experiences. It's like I knew. It's like I felt it, and I just had to really prepare myself for the ride, because I knew it was gonna be a rocky, bumpy ass ride. But yeah, this journey is super. It's super painful. It's super lonely. Like, and I've always felt lonely my whole life, but like, really living out in LA, like. I still felt lonely. I still felt like I didn't have nobody, and it was a painful journey, but I knew it was necessary for my soul growth. So I just kept going every day, and I didn't complain about my circumstances or my situation. But what I kind of took from LA is like, you know, by the end of my journey, I saw it for what it really was. I saw people for what it really was, how it really works out there, and just the superficialness of it all. Like, I just really just, you know, came to a better understanding when I had left versus when I was still there, kind of somewhat stuck in the illusions, if that makes sense, of what I thought was going to happen or what I wanted to happen. But then I kind of, you know, sometimes it's like it's what our ego wants, but it may not actually be what was best for us, what is best for us, right? So yeah, and I had a lot of people try to infringe on my free will, which I didn't really like that at all. So I had to really move cautiously. And by the end of my journey, like certain things just got revealed to me where it's like I couldn't deny the evilness of what was going on, the severity of my situation, and I had to pretty much just leave and go ghost. So yeah, anything that I thought was real, any connections or friendships that I thought were real, or anybody I was talking to, that all kind of just came crumbling down. And yeah, even still now, I'm still just kind of figuring out the truth. Like, it's finally hitting me now of what was supposed to happen had I stayed there, or had I made that certain decision, or to fuck with that person, or to open the door to this trap, basically. But I didn't. So I really just have to stay on all 10 toes and just use your intuition, because not everyone is so lucky to get out of a situation, get out of this, get out of that. Like, I kind of let people think I was dumb and naive in a lot of situations that I had put myself in, or that I got myself into. And I was preyed on a lot, which really pissed off my inner child and my inner teenager. But yeah, I like kind of let people think like I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted to see how far like certain individuals would take it. And people really took everything pretty fucking far. Like, no cap. So yeah, like, if you feel like it's overwhelming, it's too dark, it's toxic, I would just leave, because, you know, there's no sense in fighting for something that's not even real. That's not worth it, honestly. because I am very multifaceted. I don't have to go out to LA and live this certain lifestyle and like that I'm not even happy in, that a lot of people aren't even happy in. Like, you think people are happy and like a lot of people aren't who live out there. So it looks like it's glamorous, it looks like it's great, but it's really not. It's really not that great. Like, yeah, the weather's nice, the mountains, the palm trees, all that, but like that's about it, the scenery. But it's not what you think it is. Like, so just don't be fooled, or try not to be fooled by you know, what other people say or like what you see on social media. I lost my train of thought again, but I'm gonna try to think of like what else I wanted to say here. Yeah, basically just a lot of people underestimated my spiritual gifts, and that's where they fucked up at. You know, I've been around, I've dealt with narcissistic, sociopathic, what's the other one? Manipulative individuals my whole life. So like what people put me through, it was like a repetition, or what people try to put me through, it was nothing that I hadn't experienced before, if that, you know, makes sense. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people who stay out there, though, are, like, privileged, because I really didn't have much, if any, support out there. Like, I was on my own, and I feel like that's why I was, like, an easy target, because a lot of the times people see you alone. If people know you don't have family, people know you're struggling, like, they will literally take advantage of your struggle, and they will help you out, but they don't have good intentions on doing that. That's why you have to be careful if you go to LA and you're alone as a woman. Who you trust and confide in, because like people be ops. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, I mean, that shit made me want to burn everything down to the fucking ground, but I just stayed calm, and I was like, you know what, like, I understand why people move the way they do. I understand why people would treat me like this. Like, I get it, yo. Like, it's so crazy how I think like that, though. Like, I just understand it. I try to wrap my head around it, you know? I know there's more I want to say. There's always more. Yeah, so I would say, like, as a woman, like, walking, I would walk or use the bus or metro system and not Uber, because I had a couple scary experiences out in LA Ubering, so I would not recommend that at all. Just really gotta always be aware of your surroundings when you're out in LA, because anything can kind of happen. So yeah, trying to think if there's anything else. I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. So yeah, if you can relate to my experience and you want me to talk more about it, definitely go down in the comments.